Welcome back to the channel, fool. Thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to like videos like this. He just gonna sip his Mountain Dew and walk away like he didn't just do my soul.
Whoa! Whoa! Are all these lights? What the f is this?
Olha a fogueira no arraial, dança agora o meu São João. Tem quadrilha pra dançar, viu?
Tranqui, es un ciberataco con autopiloto.
Did AI know about Charlie's event before it happened on September 9th and post about it? So this user posted about how someone made a book about the event for Charlie, but look at this, it was published on September 9th. Yet the event for Charlie was yesterday, September 10th. Now I shared this link at 2:23 Eastern time. 8 minutes later, no one else was able to see that link anymore. Amazon removed it. Now Petty Mayonnaise got screenshots of what the book was saying before it was removed. And it is listed on my Discord if you want to join. But the reason I'm showing you this is because you can tell that it's definitely AI written. And before I show you what it actually says in the book, I want you to know that even this is AI. Are we in a matrix? Or are we just that predictable to AI that it knows what's going to happen?
Illuminati card game strikes again. Not only did this card game predict, you know what, but now it has arguably the strangest tie out of all of them to Charlie Kirk's assassination. I made a couple videos explaining this last night, and this is what TikTok thought of them. So I'm going to be jam-packing all the information into one video, so just listen. Keep things short and sweet. Read that title at the bottom left. Enough is enough. This is on Charlie Kirk's YouTube channel. It is his last YouTube short that was posted literally hours before he died. Now remember that enough is enough. Now go onto YouTube and look up Illuminati card number 345, Enough is Enough. You take a closer look, you read the card that says, obviously, enough is enough. And it says, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. Now, that's an insane coincidence as is, right? Now, after seeing that, look at this Time magazine cover. Like, am I crazy?
Ahora que lo he puesto a tomar sol, veo que le están haciendo una especie como de orquídea o planta parásita. Pero crece muy rápido. Pero es bajo el sol.
Let me tell you, that ball ain't gonna cut it.
Having the adventure at a fast food joint, it felt real. Real mellow. Yeah, I actually didn't mind that one either. It was pretty nice to me. What about the rest of you? I did not like that at all. Well, I'm not exactly sure we should. If it happens again, I'm getting violent. Not really sure I was a good influence. I'm definitely going to kill Ragatha.
Remember, you had a Dollar General that's supposed to do that.
D'accord.
When that little morning breeze hits you and wakes you straight up. Right? It's the gun's fault.
Yo, this lady hired us to clear out the path from her sink so her plumber can get in. She asked us to stack it to the ceiling. She asked us to stack it to the ceiling. Holy f***. Where's the path? You want me to clear a path? Where's the path? Oh my God, man. Bathroom. Oh, you want me to clear a path? Holy. Wow, I'm leaving. We're out.
Es ist so nervig, hier runter zu laufen, weil die Treppe ist nicht genormt. Ätzend.
What needs to happen? Prrr, bum, 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 bum.
Most people think the sun is a burning ball in space. But what if I told you it's not real? Beneath us, at the center of the earth, lies the black sun, a powerful, unseen core, spinning, pulsing, breathing. This black sun generates ether energy, the life force of the realm. It spirals upward through the polar north, through the axis mundi, the world tree, the celestial pole. When this energy hits the celestial dome, it splits. The plus-positive charge refracts and forms the sun. The negative charge forms the moon. But they're not physical objects. They are plasma manifestations. Energy reacting with the firmament. That's why the moon isn't reflecting light. It's emitting it. It glows with a cold, silvery luminescence. Plasma X-ray field, showing transparency, depth, and even hidden landforms beneath. The sun burns bright because of focused energy. The moon phases change as the black sun coils inward and outward like a serpent. When the energy overlaps or cancels, you get crescents, full moons, or new moons, and the stars, their standing waves of ether dancing across the dome. unique energetic signatures like cymatic patterns, each fixed in its own toroidal field, projected by the black sun. You've been taught to look up for answers, but the truth is, everything above is a mirror of what lies below.
Okay, so whilst everyone's attention is on Charlie Kirk and what happened yesterday, let's take a little look at what's happening under the radar. We've got Israel's deadly strike in Doha sparking a worldwide backlash. Next, we've got a full-scale uprising in Nepal where the parliament has literally just been torched and the prime minister has fled. And of course, we have got the Boris files leak, you know, the corruption and profiteering at the highest level from our ex-prime minister. Oh, and let's not forget to mention that Europe is in a record-breaking heatwave right now where thousands have died, yet barely any of this has been covered on the news. And lastly, but not least, we have got anti-immigration protests spreading across the UK. This is something that they don't want you to talk about. All of this seems to be building a huge pressure on the world stage, and look how it sets and ties into the 13th of September. This date is shaping up to be a major turning point. It's strange, isn't it? One story dominates the headlines whilst the other stories that actually shape the future barely make the ticker. Almost like we're meant to look here and not here. So yeah, ultimately the world is a stage, and the question is, are you watching the play or are you seeing the truth from behind the curtain? But obviously, stay true, beautiful people, and don't forget, I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
Dos. No mames, güey. No, ya voy a dejar de casar, güey. Pinche boco por acá.
Try that again, but this time walking with a flashlight, Scooby-Doo.
¿Usted es un contactado así, digamos, que recibe mensajes para tener algún tipo de encuentro con seres de otros planos?
Ay, muchachita linda, me haces una pregunta muy importante para la que se necesita mucho criterio contestarla, pero se los voy a decir. Si nosotros nos paramos mentalmente en el año de 1950 y vemos el pasado del planeta Tierra hasta donde la historia nos dé fe y somos honestos, veamos qué lentos íbamos. Qué lentos. Es más, hubo siglos de oscurantismo donde hubo un estancamiento total. Y díganme ustedes, honestamente, ¿qué pasó? ¿Quién nos está gobernando desde 1955 para acá? ¿Cuántos miles de años hemos evolucionado de la década de los 50 a ahora? Miles de años. ¿Y cuántos hemos evolucionado? Está bien. Los secretos de Estado existen, pero no hay más ciego que el que no quiera ver, no hay más sordo que el que no quiere oír. Si el mundo supiera que desde esa fecha estamos gobernados por tres confederaciones intergalácticas, realmente no la creeríamos. Y si un extraterrestre estuviera en la mesa de ustedes, nunca le aceptarían que es un extraterrestre. ¿Por qué? Porque las tres razas que están asesorando a la Tierra, pero rápido, porque algo grande se espera, hay una que es la raza, una confederación intergaláctica se llama Confederación de Naciones Intergalácticas, son igual que nosotros. La otra se llama Confederación Intergaláctica de los Grises y la otra Confederación Intergaláctica de los Reptiloides. Esas tres son las que están gobernando el planeta Tierra actualmente. Y en la Escuela de Ciencias Hiperdimensionales de Texas vienen verdaderos sacerdotes de la bondad o El bien y el mal no existe, pero los que vienen aquí que vienen a esta escuela vienen para perfeccionar que la ciencia hiperdimensional esté perfectamente bien, porque ya tienen el croquis para el nuevo mundo, cómo va a ser. Entonces estos hermanos del espacio vienen a ver que todo esté bien.
So here's the video of the TMZ employees cheering at the exact same time that Trump announced that he died at 1:40 p.m.
Janet, go to have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
All right, so is this ready to pull the trigger? We can get Trump cut in a second. There you have it. At 1:40, Trump posts that Charlie is dead. The people in the newsroom see it, they cheer, and then they immediately let Harvey know. The car chase ended half an hour after this happened. It had nothing to do with the car chase, okay? It was because he died.
Yo, I don't know about you guys, but the saga continues with this unreal meat. You gotta watch this. This is crazy. The corned beef is actually starting to disappear. Oh man, when will they stop doing this? Something's wrong, I swear to God.
That pink slime.
No la estoy moviendo. Llévatela para tu cuarto. Se va a levantar en la noche y va a ir por ti.
Spotify will be able to create artists, and they'll be able to tell people what to like. And it's going to be some Midwestern white kid that everybody like who's Jewish. But he's going to be, and this is what this white guy who everybody was using to market their records and boost their sales is telling me. I said, so they're paying you to create an algorithm to push out black people, pretty much.
Absolutely.
And I'm sitting here looking at these people. I said, well, let me see if this thing is a real thing, right? So I told him, I said, how much does it take to get me 10 million streams on a record? I signed a female rapper, not a dope record, right? Do a makeshift company, I give him the money. He gets me 10 million streams. And then he pays me out on 10 million streams. They pay me out, Spotify. And I said, the music business is fucked.
Why?
Because I just paid for a whack record to get 10 million streams. I forgot. And it counted.
That can't be legal.
What the f is that?
Huh?
Oh, damn.
Basketball or basketball. James Naismith didn't create it. The origin of basketball came from the plantation. Okay? If a slave talked back, if the slave left the plantation, okay, without any slave papers, we call this free agency. In basketball, football, baseball, hockey, free agency. It doesn't matter what color you are, okay? So you were dragged back to the plantation, dragged back to the Democratic Party. And the man, his testicles were cut off. His testicles, and also he was beheaded. Okay? The testicles, this is sick, were put inside of the skull of the slave who ran from the plantation. The same process of drying the skull, but this time the testicles of a male slave who kept running from the plantation because he wanted to be a free agent was brought back to the slave master. And the slave master's children were thrown into an apple basket. And the skull would be crushed when it hit the basket. You see, 90% of the NBA black. WNBA, what? 70% black. These are slaves, Brother Apollo. Multi-million-dollar slaves. They're rich, but they're not wealthy because they don't own anything. Steph Curry's rich, but he doesn't own the Golden State Warriors.
And that's my dream house.
I'm a part of the hybridization program. My kids, the percentages in each child varies. You know, it can be 80% human and 20% ET, or vice versa, or 49-51.
I have 6 hybrid children that I know of, and I have met them. My first son is a reptilian, and I had a really nice experience with him and spent about 3 hours with him.
Some hybrids really look alien. Picture a young girl with very thin, straggly hair, but there is hair. A very small mouth, but it is a mouth. A nose, a tiny little nose, small little ears, a pointed chin.
Some of my kids look more human, some of them don't look so human. Cake doesn't look very human at all.
And then there's even another group who I call human hybrids. These are human in every way imaginable, and they are indistinguishable from other people.
Is this in Australia?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Talk about why is that a portal? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Real quickly. You said these trees are portals.
Yeah, it's well, the fable for it is Jack and the Beanstalk.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fable, right? And the whole thing is about you have to lay the axe to the tree, which is what the book of Daniel describes when it's Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Yeah.
So that you can keep the giant from coming from one place to another place.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right?
So the giants came back through the trees.
Yeah, well, So
they climb down them.
So they're trees, but they're not just trees. They're sacred space. They're spiritual places where you can move from one place to another place. And the Word of God describes it as all the animals lived under it, and all the birds lived in it. You know, and it just gives this metaphor.
Like Avatar.
Yeah, it is very much Avatar.
And he stole that.
It's very much. So yeah, man, whenever you look at that place, there's no doubt in my mind that was a tree. But
I got a couple of those in my yard I need removed, you know? Like, I know exactly what I'm looking at, you know?
I've got like 10 that need to be removed. Let's not talk about trees.
Dads and tree stumps. But yeah, it definitely looks like a tree stump to me. And I've always thought that.
And also, too, whenever God curses something or when something is cursed, it tends to turn to stone. And that principle is all the way through the Word of God. And so I think that a lot of these giants were actually turned to stone as well, as were these ancient trees once they were cut down. It didn't take millions and millions and millions of years for that to happen. It could actually happen instantly. And it stands as a monument, you know, and we walk past it. You know, we walk past these kinds of things every day, but we're told, don't look at that. That's not what you think it is. That's just your mind playing tricks on you, because we know science now and we know what that is. And no, it's all being unveiled now.
He's got a taste for humans, but I just can't prove it.
The book of Enoch describes this perfectly. And this book was left out of the Bible on purpose from our predecessors, but it describes the angels coming down and cutting all these giant trees down to flood out the Nephilim, the giants, these beings that stretched 4,500 feet tall. These trees would reach the heavens, and that's why you always see the flat mountaintops, because these were massive trees way back in the day. Giants, giant trees. This was a much bigger realm. And they came and they cut all this down because they wanted to get rid of the Nephilim. They wanted to get rid of the giants. It is said that there's about 200 of these trees that were cut down. And if you take a look around, that's pretty accurate. There could be even more. But the evidence is right in front of your face. And when you cut a tree down, water will start pouring out from the trees. But it's as above, so below. The water's above the firmament. This is where all the flooding came in. It was right after they cut the trees down was when we experienced this massive flood, and it wiped out all of the giants, all of the Nephilim. And this was mentioned again in the book of Enoch, and they left it out on purpose, guys. Like, they left this shit out on purpose because they don't want you to know the real origins of humanity and our true history. But the truth is always in plain sight. Peace and love.
So you had complaints from one programmer who said you guys were basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
Also a great tragedy. He committed suicide.
Do you think he committed suicide?
I really do.
Have you looked?
This was like a friend of mine. This is like a guy that, and not a close friend, but this is someone that worked at OpenAI for a very long time. I was really shaken by this tragedy. I spent a lot of time trying to, read everything I could, as I'm sure you and others did too, about what happened. It looks like a suicide to me.
Why does it look like a suicide?
It was a gun he had purchased. It was this is like gruesome to talk about, but I read the whole medical record. Does it not look like one to you?
No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of a struggle, of course. The surveillance camera, the wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from a vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was suicidal, no note, and no behavior. He had just spoken to a family member on the phone, and then he's found dead with blood in multiple rooms. So that's impossible. Seems really obvious he was murdered. Have you talked to the authorities about it?
I have not talked to the authorities about it.
And his mother claims he was murdered on your orders.
Do you believe that?
I'm asking.
I mean, you just said it, so do you believe that?
I think that it is worth looking into, and if a guy comes out and accuses your company of committing crimes, I have no idea if that's true or not, of course, and then is found killed and there are signs of a struggle, I don't think it's worth dismissing it. I don't think we should say, well, he killed himself when there's no evidence that the guy was depressed at all. I think, and if he was your friend, I would think you would want to speak to his mom or...
I did offer. She didn't want to.
So do you feel that, you know, when people look at that and they're like, you know, it's possible that happened, do you feel that that reflects the worries they have about what's happening here? Like people are afraid that this is like...
I haven't done too many interviews where I've been accused of like...
Oh, I'm not accusing you at all. I'm just saying his mother says that. I don't think a fair read of the evidence suggests suicide at all. I just don't see that at all. And I also don't understand why the authorities, when there's signs of a struggle and blood in 2 rooms on a suicide, like how does that actually happen? I don't understand how the authorities could just kind of dismiss that as a suicide. I think it's weird.
You understand how this sounds like an accusation?
Of course. And I certainly, let me just be clear once again, not accusing you of any wrongdoing, but I think it's worth finding out what happened. And I don't understand why the city of San Francisco has refused to investigate it beyond just calling it a suicide.
I mean, I think they looked into it a couple of times, more than once as I understand it. I saw and I will totally say, when I first heard about this, it sounded very suspicious to me.
Yes.
And I know you had been involved in...
Was mother
you were asked
reached
to look
out
into
to
the
me.
case.
And I don't know anything about it. It's not my world.
She just reached out cold?
She reached out cold.
Wow.
And I spoke to her at great length, and it scared the crap out of me. The kid was clearly killed by somebody. That was my conclusion, objectively, with no skin in the game.
And you, after reading the latest report?
Yes.
Like, look,
I immediately called a member of Congress from California, Ro Khanna, and said, this is crazy. You got to look into this. And nothing ever happened. And I'm like, what is that?
Again, I think this is, I feel strange and sad debating this and having to
I'm not
myself
even
seem
debating
totally
it,
crazy. And you are a little bit accusing me, but this was like a wonderful person and a family that is clearly struggling.
Yes.
And I think you can totally take the point that you're just trying to get to the truth of what happened, and I respect that. But I think his memory and his family deserve to be treated with a level of respect and grief that I don't quite feel here.
I'm asking at the behest of his family. So I'm definitely showing them respect. And I'm not accusing you of any involvement in this at all. What I am saying is that the evidence does not suggest suicide, and for the authorities in your city to elide past that and ignore the evidence that any reasonable person would say adds up to a murder, I think is very weird, and it shakes the faith that one has in our system's ability to respond to the facts.
So what I was going to say is, after the first set of information that came out, I was really like, man, this doesn't look like a suicide. I'm confused. This looks like...
Okay, so I'm not being crazy here at all.
But then after the second thing came out and the more detail, I was like, oh, okay.
What changed your mind?
The second report on the way the bullet entered him and the sort of person who had like followed the sort of likely path of things through the room. I assume you looked at this too.
Yes, I did.
And what about that didn't change your mind?
It just didn't make any sense to me. Why would the security camera wires be cut? And how did he wind up bleeding in 2 rooms after shooting himself? And why was there a wig in the room that wasn't his? And has there ever been a suicide where there's no indication at all that the person was suicidal, who just ordered takeout food? I mean, who orders DoorDash and then shoots himself? I mean, maybe. I've covered a lot of crimes as a police reporter. I've never heard of anything like that. So no, I was even more confused.
This is where it gets into, I think, a little bit painful, just not the level of respect I'd hope to show to someone with this kind of mental
I get it. I totally get it. It's
people
just his
do commit
family
suicide without notes a lot. Like, that happens.
For sure.
People definitely order food they like before they commit suicide. Like, this is an incredible tragedy, and
That's his family's view, and they think it was a murder, and that's why I'm asking the question.
If I were his family, I am sure I would want answers, and I'm sure I would not be satisfied with really any. I mean, there's nothing that would comfort me in that, you know?
Right.
Like, so I get it. I also care a lot about respect to him.
Right.
And that's a wrap for today, fool. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me. Smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.